It took the Detroit Lions nearly 30 years to do it, but they finally have done it. They have become division champions. But with that, the Lions are simply not being satisfied. They want more, and they've got bigger fish to fry. We're going to talk about it in today's episode, folks, so stay tuned.
We used to be a team no one respected. We used to be a team no one feared. That was then. This is now.
First victory of the year on the line. Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, end zone. Yes! Caught!
You know who we are.
10-5, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
And you know where to find us. We won't be far. We'll be on your front porch waiting for you. We are the New Era Lions. And
we are driven by Detroit.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. And as always, we're diving in right now. But before we dive in, I just want to say to those that are coming back, thank you all for your loyalty, thank you all for your view, your support, your patronage, thank you all for everything you do. It absolutely means the immense world to me that you guys are such loyal subscribers, and I'm so glad for each and every one of y'all. And to those that are tuning into my show for the very first time, I just want to say thank you all for giving my show a shot. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoy the content, but even more so, I hope to gain you all subscribers if I've earned and deserved it. And with that being said, I just want to say, let's dive into the content. I just want to say God bless. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. And let's get going into it. So first and foremost, I do want to just say, yes, I know it's been a while since I've made some content. I know I've been, out of the game, out of the loop for a little bit. But I was in town and my family had been first time in 5 years since I've been home for Christmas. I felt that was much more important than making content. Even though I love my Lions, God comes first, family comes second, football comes third. So, you know what? It's okay for me. I'm sorry that you guys didn't get anything out of me for 7 days, but that's totally all right. But let's understand something here. December 24th, Christmas Eve, the Lions, the Detroit Lions, yes, the Lions, they finally won their division. And I'm not saying that in terms of exasperation. I'm just trying to keep myself at a level where I don't completely lose it, because it's like, dude, I've been waiting for this day for a long time, and I'm sure there are Lions fans that are double my age, maybe even triple my age, that have been waiting for this for a long time. Point of the matter is that when you think about it, 1993 was the last time the Lions could lay claim or state that they had won something. That's a long time to go without having a statement to say, yes, we won something other than games in the regular season. We actually have a title of some type. That is important. But you have to think about it even furthermore than that. It's not even the fact that it's just been 30 years since the Lions have won the title. You have to think about it here, folks. This title that they've won is the first time that they won it. The last time the Lions won a division title in 1993, the division wasn't even called the NFC North. It was the NFC Central. That's because the NFC Central no longer exists. It's defunct. It got removed in the 2002 division realignment, hence the reason why now the Lions are in the NFC North and the NFC Central does not exist. So again, not only have the Lions won their first division title since 1993, it's their first NFC North Division title. The very first time the Lions can say that they've won it, which, think about it here. It's 2023. The division has been around since 2002. First time in 21 years since the division has existed that the Lions can say, we're division winners of this division. Yeah, pretty impressive if I do dare say so myself. But again, division titles aside, the fact that the Lions have done something that they have not done since 1993. The fact that they've won the NFC North for the first time since it's existed in 21 years. Take all that out the window. The Lions are simply not satisfied. They are not satiated. They want more. And it's not just the Lions themselves that want more. The fans want more. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode, folks. And there's a lot to cover, so let's get into it here. When you think about it, folks, the Lions not only, as I said, won the division, their first time doing that in 30 years almost. Think about this. They're currently 11-4 right now. That's the best record that the Lions have had since 2014 when they went 11-5. But think about it. 11-5 was the total, end-all record in 2014. The Lions at 11-4, they still have 2 more games left where they could improve that record, and there's plenty left on the plate for these Lions to get if they so choose to. Think about it, folks. The Lions have several things that they can further lay claim to. Think about this, folks. The best record that the Lions have ever had in terms of total wins was at 1991 when they had 12 wins to 4 losses. If the Lions get one more win, they've matched that total. That would be an impressive feat. If the Lions win both of their games, win out for the rest of the year, they would then set the franchise record. The 2023 Lions would set the franchise record for most wins in a season at 13-4. At that point, the Lions of 2023, they're setting records left and right. That would be an impressive feat right then and there. But think about this, folks. There's a lot more at stake here rather than just that. Now we start getting into the fun part of this episode. Playoffs, seeding. This is where it gets fun for people because think about it, folks. The Lions currently right now have the number 3 seed. They're guaranteed at least the number 3 seed in the rest of the division. Guaranteed the number 3 divisional seed for the rest of conference seed for the rest of the playoffs because of the fact of where they are right now. They're going to get a home playoff game. But the Lions, with a little bit of help, could get either the number 2 seed or the number 1 seed. Let's talk about the number 1 seed here for a minute, because I know that there are Lions fans that really, really, really want that number 1 seed. And I can't blame them. You get that number 1 seed, you're sitting pretty. You are sitting in a really damn good spot. Because at that point, you get the wild card bye. You don't have to play in the wild card round. You get a chance to rest up for a week. That's a pretty good incentive. But furthermore, you get home playoffs for the remainder of the playoffs. So think about that. Division round, you get a home game. Conference championship game, you get a home game. That right there is really, really important. That's why that number 1 seed is so heavily valued. It's so heavily, sought after. Now, how do the Lions get the number 1 seed? Well, there's a few ways that you could do it, but the most straightforward and most easy way to do it, Lions win out, 49ers lose against the Rams. That's the easiest way the Lions get that number 1 seed. If they win both of their games, Vikings and Dallas, and the Rams beat the 49ers for their last game of the year, Lions have the number 1 seed. That's the easiest way to do it. There's another way that you could do it, but it involves a lot more other teams losing and giving you a lot more help. It's just much easier to simply say, Lions win out, Rams beat 49ers, done. Now, that's how you can secure the number 1 seed. Easiest, straightforward way possible. But also think about this. As much as I would love to win the number 1 seed, because there's a lot of implication behind that, the Lions are also trying to fight for that number 2 seed right now, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But you got to think about it just from this purely plain point. The Lions control their destiny. They are not contingent on other teams trying to win or lose for them to have their spot in the playoffs. They've already got it. As the shirt said, it's a lock. They do not have to worry about anybody else winning or losing games. They have already got their spot in the playoffs. At this point, it's just how can you improve it, baby? And that's what we're going to talk about. And here's what we're going to talk about with that. Think about this. With the Lions having their postseason seed already locked up, they've already got their division title locked up. The Lions have got a lot of things going for them going into the playoffs. Again, first division title since 1993, like I said, but also first home playoff game for the Detroit Lions since 1993. That's also pretty important because, again, when you're at home, that helps you out immensely. Because think about it here, folks. The last time the Lions won a playoff game was in 1991. So, again, this would be big for the Lions. Hey, first home playoff game since 1993. Chance to win your first playoff game, period, since 1991. There's a lot going on just from that point. But when you start taking a look at the playoff implications, it gets even bigger. Think about this, folks. I took a look at the trend data here. When you think about it, the Lions are most likely, let's just play the hypothetical that if everything kind of falls the way I'm thinking it's going to fall, The Lions have a really good shot of going for the number 2 seed. I'm not really going to talk about the number 1 seed because that's pretty self-explanatory. You get the number 1 seed, you're sitting out the wild card round, and then you're just waiting for who wins the division. So let's take that one off the table for the moment because, again, I don't think that one's as likely as the number 2 seed, which is hence the reason why Dan Campbell said in the presser, the Lions are looking at that number 2 seed. That's what they're fighting for now. That's not necessarily to say that the Lions are abdicating or giving up on the number 1 seed, but it's like, listen, you first have to secure number 2 before you can secure number 1. So for me, it's like, okay, number 2 seed, what does that entail? What is that all going to mean for the Lions should they get it? Well, here's what it's most likely going to mean. Much like how the Lions were at the number 3 seed, they're most likely going to be playing the Rams or the Seahawks in that home wild card game. Now, when we're talking about the trend history that I was just talking about a moment ago, when it comes to home playoffs for the wild card round, it's kind of even money. Usually the home team wins at about 48% of the time. So again, about even money. Away teams usually do a little bit better on the wild card round. However, though, I'm going to say this right now. While that does not sound good for the Lions, understand something here. Since 2006, the Lions have been 10-6 at home, and it's a first-time playoff game at home at Ford Field. I guarantee you this, the Lions are not going to need any sense of motivation for that game. I feel very confident regardless if the Rams or the Seahawks show up. I know I've expressed in the past that I'm afraid of the Seahawks because of their history, but it's like, listen, history aside, first time at Ford Field for a playoff game, that atmosphere, it will be jumping. So for me, it's like, listen, I have confidence in my Lions at home. I would much prefer to play the Rams because of the narrative that it sets up, but regardless, Rams, Seahawks, I'm not worried about that. And here's the reason why. Let's just play the hypothetical scenario. Lions get one of those 2 teams, they win that game, they're now in the divisional round. I was just talking about how the wild card round for home teams as far as victory in trend is about 50-50. It's about even money. You want to know what that jumps up to in terms of trend history for the divisional round for the home team? It jumps all the way up from even money to about a 75-25 split. That means the home team has a 75% chance of victory in the divisional round versus about 50% in the wild card round. Now understand what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that if the Lions are the home team in the divisional round, it's a guaranteed victory. But it does greatly increase the odds. Think about this, folks. With that number 2 seed, you almost are guaranteed, if you win that wild card round, to have a divisional game that's at home. 3rd seed, it's a little bit more complicated. You could potentially have that home game as well, but it kind of depends on the seed that you're playing up against as well. You just never know. So again, if you have the number 2 seed, you are guaranteed for certain to have that home game. That's what the Lions are wanting. So if you get that number 2 seed, okay, good. Now you're set for a home playoff game against whoever's going to come in as well, whatever that case might be. And now your chances of victory have jumped from 50% in the wild card to 75% in the divisional round. That is important because, again, think about it. Lions win their first game at the wild card level. They go to the division level. They're at home again. Now they've got a 75% chance according to trend history. At that point, then, the Lions could get themselves all the way to the conference championship game. Who would have thought that one for serious? Like, for serious, that the Lions could get to the conference championship game this year. Think about it. 3 years removed, not from a rebuild, from a teardown that went into a rebuild, we could potentially be in the NFC Conference Championship game. I'm not saying that to blow smoke. I'm saying that is a very, very real possibility depending upon how these next 2 weeks play out. That's why I'm saying these next 2 games against the Dallas Cowboys and against the Minnesota Vikings, they're playoff games because you're playing for playoff seeding. You're playing for your playoff future because how much better you do in the regular season is going to greatly influence what you get in the postseason. You could get the number 2 seed, you could get the number 3 seed, or you could stay at the number 3 seed. But I guarantee you this, like I said in the thumbnail, the Lions have got bigger fish to fry. They're not satisfied staying at number 3. They want to get to number 2. They want to get to number 1 even. But again, you got to get to number 2 before you can get to number 1. But think about that. If the Lions somehow, some way, were to get to their first freaking number one overall seed, that would be something that they have not done ever. The Lions, in terms of NFL playoff format, have never been a number one seed. Again, you're talking about a literal season of firsts. First home playoff game since 1993. First division title since 1993. First playoff victory potentially since 1991. This is a season that could have a literal bevy, a literal host of firsts for the Lions. This is a huge set of games that the Lions have got coming up. And they're going to really further test the mettle, if you will, test the mental attitude, the capabilities of this team going to the playoffs. Because think about it. If you travel into Dallas and you beat Dallas, which I'm going to say this right now because I know some people are going to ask me this question. I'm not saying the Lions are going to beat Dallas. But at this point, I would say the Lions have got a 45% shot at doing so. And here's the reason why. One, having gotten that division title, like I've been saying in this whole episode, the Lions want more. They want to do more than just secure a division title. They want to show the NFL we're just not here for shows or looks like the Vikings were last year. We can beat teams, really good teams on the road. Because think about it, the Lions have been really, really great on the road this year, except for a couple of hiccups. If you go into Dallas, a team that right now is kind of skidding after losing 2 straight games, and you beat them at home, a team that's 7-0 at home that has won every single home game by 30-plus points or more, you've got their offense has scored 30-plus points or more. Pardon me. Either way, you go into their home stadium and you beat them, I guarantee you this, they're going to take even more notice of that than when the Lions got the divisional crown, because now they're going to be like, okay, this team has got a divisional crown. They're locked in for the playoffs. And then they just went into Dallas. They went into Jerry's world, and they beat the Cowboys. That's going to definitely start sending some antennas up in the air, if you catch my drift. So again, these next 2 weeks, especially this game we got coming up on primetime Saturday night against Dallas, these are huge. Especially considering the fact they're both NFC conference games. That's going to heavily influence what happens in the playoff seeding. So again, the Lions have got much bigger fish to fry. They are not sitting on their laurels. They're not resting on what they've already gotten so far. They want more. They're not satiated. They're not satisfied. That's the whole point of this episode. So again, I'm looking forward to what the Lions do over these next 2 weeks because I'm telling you what, it's going to be fun to watch. But anyway, folks, with that having been said, I figured this would be a good first episode back. Kind of be like, hey, you know what? I've been paying attention to what's going on. Now let's start kind of talking about what we can look forward to here in the future. But I'm telling you this right now, I got a lot of content that I'm planning on coming out over today and tomorrow before I do my live stream for the game on Saturday like I would have done. But again, family's much more important. But with that having been said, I just want to say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode that's coming at the end of this one. But I also encourage y'all to please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not had a chance to do so, again, please subscribe. It really helps me out. I'm ever so thankful for every subscription that I can get. But I also encourage y'all, please, after you subscribe, make sure you turn on that bell notification icon that goes with it, so that way you never miss any more content that I push out. Again, subscription numbers are always going up, but the more people that turn on that notification, the better the channel does because we keep getting you back in. But also, to help in that endeavor, I also encourage y'all to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. Again, the more people that share this content, the further reach it has, which means the more people we get in, the better the channel does, which means we have better conversations about football. So again, please share this content anywhere you can. And with that, I just want to say to everybody, again, thank you all for your view, thank you all for your support, and thank you all for your patronage. If I just gained you as a subscriber, thank you all for putting your trust in me. I'm so grateful for you guys to join the MCM family. And for those that still have not subscribed, hopefully I'll get another chance to do so. Hopefully you'll come back, and hopefully that'll be the time you decide to become a subscriber. But if not, no hard feelings. But I will say to everybody, I just hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Just want to say God bless. Hope you all have a Happy New Year. And I again just want to say thank you all for everything that you do. Thank you all for your view. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.